Hey everybody. Should I, none of this shit's even fucking organized. Fuck it, we're gonna do a live. Today we're gonna do a bit of a gear drop, gear review, walk you guys through what I use on a day-to-day basis in training for these ultra endurance events, strength events, just day-to-day training to keep me going, keep me ready, the essentials of. So let's get going. Starting with your training fit. You know I love me some short shorts. So we got ourselves the 10,000, I think these are the distance short, or the interval short. Built-in liner, a couple of pockets, drawstring, real nice light material. Yeah, these are great. Feel like you're not even really wearing anything. You pop the shirt off, you got a couple of these little elastic loops, you can just cinch that through. Nice big back pocket in the back for stashing a cell phone or your keys or gels, things like that. And then all through the waistband you have these tiny little pockets. You got a couple on each side for you to, again, stash more gels, keys, anything like that you might need to carry with you if you're trying to go real minimalistic. And then typically some sort of a lighter top, just this light tan, kind of athletic material, quick dry shirt from the North Face. This is just a sample of something that I would be wearing. Again, summertime, when it's warmer out, the shirt doesn't last very long. Although if I'm training with my pack, typically I'll keep that shirt on just because the shoulder straps of the pack can chafe, and that gets a little bit uncomfortable. If you're logging, 10, 20 plus miles in the heat, between the salt and sweat, the friction just starts to chafe on the shoulder. So keeping the shirt on usually helps to keep things a little bit more comfortable. Naturally, I forgot socks, and that is probably my favorite part of the training fit. Typically, I'll wear some sort of like a merino wool, or recently I got into alpaca socks. So the company Paca, actually I got their sticker right here, makes a really good running, hiking, everyday use sock. And I ran an experiment. This is a little bit gross, but I wanted to really put them to the test. So I got them just before we went to Africa a couple of months ago. They arrived, didn't wash them, packed them, and those were my primary sock that I wore trekking through mountains at elevation, looking for the gorillas, out on safari, every day just wearing about. These things were bone dry the entire time, never once developed an odor, never once did I get any blisters, and I have since worn them for all sorts of training runs of various distances. I wore no blisters, nothing. And again, you got to do the test. You got to test what they're claiming. No odor. It's unbelievable. So I really like Paca. No affiliation. Just really like the product. And so I'll typically wear something like that, either the alpaca or some sort of a merino wool blend, from a sock standpoint, just for the moisture wicking and then comfort. So that closes out a bit of the, I guess, training fit, if you will. Next, rummaging in through here. Actually, we got more clothing materials. We're still sort of in spring, so like yesterday brought a lot of moisture, precipitation, and wind. So oftentimes I'll throw on a nice light outer layer. So this is just a simple waterproof, windproof outer shell from REI. I love their co-op stuff. Super cheap, really high quality. I have never had anything from them, and I have several products, clothing, gear that's REI co-op branded, and they all are probably top value, I think, out there for what you get. So this is actually still a little bit damp from yesterday's run, so I gotta actually hang this up and dry. But often I'll wear this for windier days or something where I don't necessarily want too heavy of an additional layer that I can easily just, take off as I warm up and stash away. So this stashes away into its own pocket, and like I said, light enough where it's not a lot of bulk and weight that you have to run with if you have to hold on to it for a while. So one of my favorite outer layers. Moving on to the pack. So I recently upgraded to the Salomon Advanced Skin 12. I wanted the red one, but all they had from last year's model was the black left. And the black is sweet, but I wanted the red one just for a little bit of pop. But I'll take what I can get. I went with last year's model because a lot of the reviews from this year's model pointed to some changes that Salomon had made that weren't necessarily favorable. They got rid of, I think, this top stash pocket, and a couple other little things that I guess people weren't necessarily liking. So fortunately I was able to find last year's model still. I actually think I got this off of REI as well when I got the co-op wind and water proof jacket. This thing is super comfortable. Tons of space. It's the Advanced 12, so it's got 12 liters of total storage volume. Big old pack, big old storage in the main compartment in the back. Need the wipes. If you know, you know. And you can fit a hydration bladder in there if needed. They sell their own. But I typically don't use one of those unless I'm going out on an actual long hike. 2 soft flask pockets in the front, easily accessible. These massive sort of all-purpose slide pouches. I'll stash my phone in there, gels, electrolytes, anything and everything. Wayland's shock collar, electric collar, controller I'll stash in there. Headlamp, any number of things, and it fits really easily without much effort. The front closure is this quick lace hook and loop system where you just cinch those in, and it's this lightweight kind of stretchy paracord type material, and then if needed you can just elastic cinch that down, and that tightens up nice and snug, and then quick release to take it off. Really love this pack. The straps are super comfortable. There's padding to it without feeling super bulky and cumbersome. My old pack was an Ultimate Direction, which was great. It was a great intro pack. I had that for about 4 years of training. Wore that for every single one of my races. But this thing is sort of the cream of the crop when it comes to running packs and running vests. So highly recommend this product. And it also came with 2 soft flasks. So this is what I typically will run with. These are 500 milliliters, so half of a liter. about 16 ounces it'll hold. These are their speed flasks, so they're thin, they drop in and out really quite easily. The pack itself has this elastic core that goes around the top, so it keeps it from bouncing up and down when you're running, which is really, really great. Soft bite mouth valve. This still has a little bit of water left in it from my run earlier today. But I came with 2 of these, and typically I will, most training runs I'll run with 1, but the events I'll carry both of them. So big plus, because typically these are like 20 bucks or so a pop, so nice to have some extras. Because we're still in springtime, sometimes my hands get really cold, at least in the beginning of the run, and so I need some gloves to keep them warm. And so I got these. These are the Craft, I think they're the hybrid 2-in-1 glove combo. So you have your traditional sort of running glove, and then they have this over looping, or over, threw it on. I wore these also yesterday, so they're still a little bit damp. So you got your traditional running glove, right? And they have these little grippies there, which are touchscreen compatible, which is nice. So you can pull it out and pull your phone out and still be able to control music or answer text or whatever it is that you may need to do with the phone on the run without taking the glove off. But they have this little sleeve of sorts that you can just pop over the fingers, and it turns into a mitten. And this has some weather resistance to it, so that helps keep the hands dry, as well as blocks out some of the wind if it's a particularly windy day. And then when it starts to get warm, you can pop that off, and actually it stashes into its own pocket there, right? So I will often use these at the beginning of a run until the body gets moving and warmed up, and then I'll pop those off. But those are actually really, really warm, and those came in handy over the winter time. So I was happy to have those. Next, it's like a grab bag in there. We've got the Roka Barton 2.0s in some sort of like a forest green. Super, super comfortable, super lightweight. Really good job of blocking out that really harsh sunlight while still being able to see, even in the woods. I had a pair of Jilbo running sunglasses with a photochromatic lens that, after Last Man Standing, I have no idea where those went. Those I absolutely love. They're a much bigger, I guess, frame and lens, so it really enveloped your total vision, blocked a little bit of the peripherals, and because of the photochromatic nature of the lens, it would fluctuate the intensity of I guess, light occlusion, and so you didn't have to necessarily worry about popping them on and off because they would auto adjust based on the light intensity. But I have no idea where those went after Last Man Standing last year, so coming into summertime, when we're going to be in a little bit sunnier conditions, brighter conditions, and I'll need some eye protection, I opted to get a new pair of Rokas, and I have loved these so far. Super lightweight, you barely notice that they're there. They've been a great addition. For nighttime runs, which I will be doing for the upcoming Cut 112 as well as Last Man Standing, I upgraded my headlamp to the Pitzel Ico Core. Now, this contraption is really, really comfortable, very, very lightweight, excellent battery life. I think on high you'll get 2 to 3 hours of battery output. So that's low, that's medium, and that's high. The low is pretty much useless, so really you're working with medium and high. And the neat feature about this is that Most have the battery and the light component up front, and then it's typically some sort of an elastic strap that you wear around your head. And I still have one of those. I have an old Petzl headlamp, but the problem with those is that because it's front heavy, as you're running, it bounces a lot. And so sometimes you have to adjust, you might have to tighten it a little bit more. Every now and then you got to slide it back up because it's sliding because of the nature of the weighting system. With this being having the battery on the back and the light up front, it's very, very well balanced. And you have this easy, just cinch cord to the sort of exoskeleton frame here that keeps it really secure, doesn't jostle at all. It's got this very easily adjustable tilting mechanism to the lamp itself. Easy one-button operation. And then it's got a battery save feature where if battery's running low and say you're running it on high, it'll automatically drop down. It'll flash 3 times, I believe, to let you know the battery's low, and then it'll drop down to the next lowest light intensity to let you know. Unfortunately, this is the same battery as my old Petzl, so I have about 3 or 4 of those rechargeable batteries, but I think this can also run on 3 AAAs. So in a real pinch, you can just slap some traditional batteries in and you're good to go. So this is going to come in handy for the Cut 112 as well as the overnight portion of Last Man Standing later this year. Where I get a lot of my on the run in the car filming, GoPro Hero 11 Black Edition on this little flotation device handheld stick. This thing's been great. A lot of my footage comes from this. Easy to hold, easy to maneuver. About an hour of battery life. Can film about an hour with the 32 gig SD card, micro SD card. Yeah, easy operation. I'll usually throw it right in one of those water bottle packs or water bottle pockets of my running pack, and then pop it out when I want to film something in the run. Yeah, and so with the GoPro membership, you get unlimited cloud storage. So I offload the media into the cloud, download what I need onto my phone, where I then cut, edit, whatever I gotta do to film or to create these vlog episodes, and then delete it off the phone from there. So it's the raw footage is saved up in the cloud, and then I'm able to produce the videos to post to you guys. Tunes wise, every now and then I like listen to an audiobook, a podcast, music, whatever it may be. And these are the Aftershokz Run, I believe, Open Run. They're not the pros, whatever the next tier down would be. These work on bone conduction, so we have bones at the base of our whole skull is a bone, right? But bones just in front of your ears, and if you poke in there, you can feel the bone, and so that's right near our inner ear where we are actually able to register noise, and then that's processed into the brain. But the way these work is the vibrations are sent through the bone, so it doesn't damage or cause the potential for damage of the inner ear structures, and you're still able to hear ambient noise, which is important. Especially if you're out running on streets or in a heavily trafficked area, so that you can still be aware of your surroundings. Me running on private property, on trail, I just like it so that I'm aware of any critters we might come across, or if we come across people who are trespassing on the property. They don't startle me, I don't startle them, and these are super comfortable. Barely know that they're there. Phone calls are super clear. Yeah, these have been great. Little wireless charging, or magnetic charging, not wireless. Port there. Volume doesn't get the loudest, especially if there's some wind going around, but they definitely get the job done. good old-fashioned planner. I like to track my training data in multiple formats. My Garmin tracks it automatically through the Garmin Connect app, which then uploads it to my Strava account. But I like to physically write it down as well, just to have an additional way of monitoring and tracking my data. Just simple daily planner. That's all you need. Nice little backup too. And then last we have some nutrition. So, I mentioned it before, but pre and during, I will usually go with some G1M Sport from BPN. This is the salted watermelon flavor, unopened. They had a flash sale 2 weeks ago, 25% off, so I stocked up on every flavor that they had. This stuff is great, easy on the stomach, good source of carbohydrates, good source of sodium as well. Really good pre and during training runs and races mix as well. And then I'll also carry these Go Gels by BPN as well. Probably my favorite flavor is the apple cinnamon. Tastes just like applesauce. Again, easy on the stomach, easy to digest, quick to throw back, tastes delicious, whole foods. Yeah, not much more you could ask for. In addition to that, I use Element packets. My favorite flavor being the grapefruit currently. I just got a fresh shipment in. 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, 60 milligrams of magnesium, no sugar. These things are great. So I'll usually have anywhere between 2 to maybe 3 or 4 of these a day, depending on training load. And then classic blender bottle, mix it up, fill up the soft flasks, whatever you need to do. And then I guess I could show this thing, right? Instacrate. Got this at Costco. Collapses in itself into nothing. Lays flat, and then heat it. Pops open into a nice big crate. So I like to carry a lot of my training gear in that thing. Take it in and out of the car quite easily. Comes in handy. Have a couple of those. They're good for kind of all-purpose carrying of whatever you need. Last but not least, I forgot to mention shoes, everyone's favorite item. These are disgusting from yesterday's run still, so I did not run in these today. These are the Saucony Exodus Ultra 2s. Originally wasn't a big fan of them. They took a little bit longer of a break-in period, but now that they're sort of worn in a little bit, these are my favorite go-to daily trainer. Not a huge stack height. I believe it's a 4mm heel toe offset, so it doesn't put a ton of strain on the Achilles, but allows you to get a little bit more of that posterior chain activation, depending on the type of running that you do, depending on any injuries that you might have. You can actually tweak around with the style of shoe, the heel toe offset, to display stresses a little bit differently. Generally speaking, the lower the heel toe offset, the more of the stress will get placed on your calf muscles and the Achilles, whereas a greater heel toe offset, meaning more of a rise like that, will put more through the quad, typically. Yeah, love these shoes, and they're on sale, so double win there. Not shown, but used often are the foam roller, the crossball, and percussion device, Theragun, although mine's an offshoot brand of percussive therapy gun, for soft tissue work, mobility work, just getting the blood and fluids flowing, pre and post workouts, up and down the spine for some back cracking as well with a foam roller, just to help keep the body in tip-top shape from training day to training day and even session to session. I would love to get my hands on some Normatec boots, but those are pretty expensive. And one day I'll get a pair. I can't. Difficult to justify $700 on something like that right now. But one day. But that's pretty much it. That's the gear. That's what I use on a daily basis. Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. This is a bit of a longer video. As always, like, comment, subscribe, do all the things. Appreciate you guys supporting me. Appreciate you guys watching the videos. Hit me up with any recommendations, anything else you want me to cover. And until next time, be awesome. And I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.